All right, welcome everybody to the Town of Waterboro Planning Board meeting for November 5th, 2025. Angela, can we start with roll call, please?
Rick Maduga.
Here.
Rebecca Higgins.
Here.
Stacy Walker. Here. Diane Gray.
Here.
Jill Prescott.
Here.
Next on the agenda is public hearing. We don't have one. Next is old business, 40 Logan Circle, Lauzier, DeMaio, Ron DeMaio. And this is a follow-up to the last meeting. You have an update, correct?
Yeah.
I think we all saw
The last,
Yes. Yeah, go ahead.
at the last meeting, you requested a lighting schedule and show where I was gonna be putting the lights on the garage. I submitted that to Michaela and Angela, and I think you should have that in front of you.
Yep, we have the memo from Michaela and we have the additional information to, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it's
Did you guys
Yeah.
have any questions?
No.
No, that was the only thing that we hadn't come back for.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so I think everything was
Yeah,
pretty.
sorry you had to come back for
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
If nobody has any questions, get quick. I
You
just need a
good,
motion.
Michaela?
Yeah, the lighting was the only thing I thought needed changing. You
Mm-hmm.
fixed all that. It looks great. I had nothing else. I thought everything is there and meets the standards.
All I need is a motion to find the application complete and to approve it. So, right.
I'll make a motion to find the application for a Lozier, what was it,
DeMaio.
DeMaio, complete.
I'll second it.
And you'll have to go through the findings of facts, so going through the standards one by one.
We will,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Just,
Yeah.
just make
Yeah,
sure.
we're just doing the
Yeah.
application, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Who was the second?
All those in favor? Alright. So, we'll do the finding facts and then we'll be good.
Yep,
That should be good.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. All right, next on the agenda is new business, dock rentals, commercial docks, John Bell.
Hello.
Hello.
So this is an item that I had brought up during the councilman's meeting. We went out sometime in June to take a tour of the lake, and there was questions that were brought up previously from other residents of the lake on kind of what the regulations were for dock spaces. And so I started digging into it before I brought out the councilman to do the tour, and found out that the town doesn't actually have any type of regulations on docks at all, which I thought was kind of odd. I'm a new resident to the town, councilman, wanted to try to do something to help the community, so I thought that this would be an area that I could help out the town. I live on the lake, and I've noticed that there's a more and more abundance of boats that are stored on the lake. So I brought the councilman out, gave him a tour, and they agreed with me that it appears as though there's a lot more dock spaces that are out there than previously ever before. And so we're not regulating them at all, so there's not like we can do anything about it, but maybe we should be thinking about the future and trying to regulate it in some sort of fashion. And what the answers are to that, I don't specifically know. I have put forth 3 or 4 different documents that I found from other towns and other communities and how they regulate the docks. So I wanted to bring it to you folks and see if I could assist in any way.
So your experience is just, I thought maybe based on some of the information we received, do you have experience with docks or in communities that have, no, okay.
No,
Okay.
I'm a contractor by trade.
Okay,
I have rented on the lake for roughly 8 years, lived on it for about 4.
okay.
Is there any particular places that you are talking about?
You can just look right around Route 5. I think we've all noticed it.
Yeah.
And I'm not, I don't know what we do from here, to be honest with you. Like I said, there's no regulations in place, so I don't think that there's,
Unfortunately, there is no, I mean, all that stuff was all approved from Mike
yep.
prior to going in. And
So they-
unfortunately, yeah,
they
he went
pulled
through
it.
all the proper channels, and unfortunately, there is no regulations. There should be.
So
I
you
agree.
can pull a dock permit? I mean, how did you get a permission to put out 14
He
slips?
just asked if he could do it, and
Yeah, sure.
Advice, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Please.
Let's do one, you're gonna have to come up to the podium.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can speak on that for you. I have a little bit of familiarity with the.
If you could say your name too.
Yes,
Thank
I'm
you.
Sandy Manette. Hello. So I think the two docks in question that you're mentioning, they actually have submerged land leases from the state of Maine. In the state of Maine, the land that's covered with water is owned by the public, but the land underneath belongs to the state. Any structure that is put up that is more than 500 square feet, so dock space, that is bigger than that, you must get a submersible land lease from the state, it would be from just the state of Maine.
500 square feet?
500 square feet.
How do they determine that?
It's actually,
Is it the amount of dock space, or is it the amount of docks the amount of space that the docks take up?
if it's over 500 square
mean, you
feet.
have-
I don't know the exact details, I
Yeah.
can read it, I guess.
You have docks, and then you have open water in
Yeah,
between the
basically, if
docks.
you're taking over space that can't be navigable.
Yeah.
navigable,
Over 500 square feet.
over 500 square feet, then you need a lease from the state. So Sunnyside Cottages and the campground actually have those because they are larger structures. Anyone, if you're under 500 square feet and your dock is in less than 7 months, it's public use of the property. If it stays in, so if it was a pier, cement, something permanent, then they would have to get a lease to do so. So that helps a little bit.
Interesting.
The other one that I have a question too, though, was the old restaurant right at the boat
Yep.
launch area itself.
Yep.
I don't know how that came about, or,
I know because I'm personally involved with that.
Yeah.
It's a friend of mine that did it. And like I said, he talked to Mike before he did it. He came to the town, told him what he wanted to do. Mike says, I can't stop you.
yeah. but
He wanted to add on to it, and I specifically told him I wouldn't do it. People aren't happy with what you did to begin with. Don't make it worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did go through all the proper channels. Unfortunately,
I mean, the proper channels you're speaking of is basically talking to a code enforcement who has no jurisdiction over that in reality.
well, I mean, he went to
So-
the
That's
town,
the
I don't know.
jurisdiction that he had at the time,
I
right.
think he had,
Right,
he had gone, even called the DEP or the state, I don't know, I can't speak for him, I could find out. But I just know that he did go through what he thought was all the proper channels to add those docks.
Regardless, I'm not trying to go backwards and
Yeah.
and take away anything, but I think moving forward, I mean, what's to prevent me from throwing out 16 slips on my property?
I agree, there should be something, I wasn't fond of it when he did, trust me, I was happy the way it was before with just the 5 docks, because I'm involved in help putting them in and out.
Yeah,
But, yes, it's definitely it's a tricky situation because there is no ordinance, there is no, you can only have X amount of docks. I think it should be, personally, I think it should be something like if you have X amount of frontage, you should only be allowed X amount of docks. Like 1 slip per 15 feet of frontage or something to that nature. That's how it should be.
and that's,
Unless you have a mile of frontage, you shouldn't have 20 slips,
right.
you know what I mean? But,
Well, then what's, I mean, so in my major concern, guys, here is
Yeah.
that somebody just basically starts a business up
Yep.
of dock slips and essentially running a marina, and that pollution decreases the lake's overall longevity.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's a great lake, and I think it's a great resource for the town, and I just don't want to see it deteriorated.
yeah,
And-
I don't know if you go to the Lake Association meeting, the annual meeting, I went to that in August.
Yeah,
And believe it or not, Ospey Lake is in the top 10% of the most cleanliest lakes in the whole state of Maine, and there's,
yep,
I don't know, over 800 lakes or something.
yep,
So that's a good sign.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, obviously.
yep. But now we have, the bladder wart that's come in,
Yeah.
which has been brought in from a boat, obviously.
Right,
So the more traffic you have, the more likelihood you have of that type of activity.
yeah, and
And not to say
unfortunately,
that people that rent slips, leave them there all the time, they could bring it in, bring it out,
Right.
gives the availability for that. I'm just saying it's something that we should potentially look at, and we had kicked it over to you guys, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago. And so I just wanted to come here and speak my mind to see if I could try to get some life out of it.
Yeah,
It is something that's been on
I was gonna say,
our
you've been
pending,
right, since
our
last
pending,
year.
it's been on this pending agenda thing for a while, and I don't think, as a planning board, I don't think we really had any good plans to get something going.
well, I think where
I've
it's,
had some suggestions, but
well, I think where it's come back to is enforcement, though. I'm sure the
Right.
4 towns, right, that you looked up have a harbor master.
Nope.
No, they don't?
Nope.
So how do they enforce it? Who's responsible for it?
You basically look for the people of the community to enforce it. So you basically, I mean, same thing that they do now essentially with any construction projects that happen on the lake, you have to send out a notice to your neighbors. So if your neighbors didn't get a notice, then they might call code enforcement and say, hey, I see somebody's doing something over here. Well, if you're not registering your dock, your neighbor's gonna notice and say, hey, why isn't Tim registering his dock?
I encourage you guys to take a look at the planning board minutes from 2018, early 2018, maybe late 2017, early 2018. We went through this whole dock.
The whole thing, right?
process,
Yeah.
And the town has absolutely no jurisdiction over the docks.
okay.
Yeah, one of the reasons of why I thought it would be great if you came and talked to us all here in this forum is because when we're thinking about regulating options from the planning board perspective, it's about, right, land use mostly. And so we're trying to get a better idea about like what the specific issues are. So we had, I think part of our discussion last time was we weren't exactly sure what was kind of the root of some of the problems that were happening and which effects we were concerned about. So we had talked a little bit about concerns about people parking vehicles on the side of the road.
Parking is a big issue, yes.
And how that was causing safety concerns, and those cars might be linked to units that had more people in them and then spaces for parking, and that may or may not be linked to dock rentals, and so trying to figure out kind of that tie-in. We'd also talked a bit about just noticing higher boat traffic on the lake, but not knowing without the data if that's actually connected to the rentals or just people being more active on the lake, so trying to kind of suss that out. We also talked about the more erosion from more boat traffic, and then the environmental issues with like the invasive species, and then the, if folks are renting out private dock spaces but not getting any sort of licensing to do so, and is that now a commercial property, but it's not, is it acting as a commercial property even though it's in a residential zone? So those are kind of the things we've all been trying to figure out, and I think just hearing more from you on and what you and others have noticed can help us kind of zone into what kind of the root is there.
Yeah, I think originally where it came up, I think it was the erosion issue, wasn't it? That's where Mike brought it up again,
Yeah.
was about
And
erosion.
the game warden, I think, too.
Was it?
Talking
Yeah.
about the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from what Dave just said, the town has no jurisdiction over the docks, so we can't do anything anyway, can we?
Currently, right now, we don't.
We-
Right, I think what you're proposing, though, is that we do, right? I mean, that's.
Can we though? Do we have that authority to do that?
Dennis?
Yes,
Yeah,
we do.
then we should.
In fact, Mark Mitchell was the CEO at the time, back in
Yes.
2018. And he was concerned whether or not he could have the time to go witness all the docks, right? Not only in Ospey Pond, but in Lake Arrowhead,
Right.
Lake Sheridan, whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
So he was concerned that he was spending more time permitting docks than he would
And he
permit.
had time for it. Yeah, and like we said earlier, it's the enforcement thing is a big issue as well, trying to enforce it.
So I have a question for the planning board. Is the campground get a conditional use permit for all those docks?
I don't know the answer to that. From what Sandy said, they have some kind of
They have a
license.
submersible land lease along with Sunnyside Commons, and that's through the Bureau of Parks and Lands.
think we'd have to look in the planning record
Right.
for the conditional use piece.
Because when he expanded and added 50 lots to the site, I thought, and my memory fails me, but I thought that there was a conditional use permit to allow him to put out docks.
There wasn't a number though, was there?
And I'm not sure,
I don't think so.
but he's got the perfect opportunity because sites, or he's got so many sites versus, the number of slips that he's got, right? Whereas other folks, they don't have the number of cottages that they've got the number of slips, so they're renting them out.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's no secret, that house on by the launch is a bed, it's a, what do you wanna call it? What's the word here? Airbnb, yeah, I mean, it's a weekly rental, big sign out front, weekly rentals, dock rentals, he's not hiding anything.
Right.
But I
I
guess,
don't think what is he doing that he needs to hide?
nothing, I mean, it's not like he's saying I'm not renting it out.
Right.
I mean, he's
We just,
a good, honest guy, I mean, I've known him for 25 years, he's not, but likes to make money. And
I think how we left it
You know.
before was with, and I think Glenn Charette too, Dave was talking about this with the neighbor with the dock, and then the other dock, and the dock, and then all the dock boards and all that, when it started happening, was they were gonna have the selectmen decide if we were going to take this on, and that's how I think Mike left it. And we've been
Thank you,
talking about this since last year.
Yeah,
So
that's
if
what I
you
remember.
go to that next level, and we discussed that before, and Mike did say, if we're gonna have these marinas or we're gonna do that, then we have to by law have a harbor master. So I don't know how,
That's why we kind of shied away from it,
Yeah.
because how do you pay
Enforcement.
for that, how do you?
Right.
Right. The enforcement was a big piece of it. I agree, something should be done, definitely.
John was good enough to take the board around at the town. At the time, we were a select board, but now we're town councilors, but, and he took us around, and there's not just one or two, right?
right,
There's multiple people that are renting slips.
Because, I only know of the three
no, that's what
myself.
the game warden came in and was talking about, who owned all these docks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I do have a question. The ones that are in question that you're discussing with the campground, I understand what you said as far as 500 square feet is concerned. You have to get permission. That would be for a homeowner wanting to do that, they would have to get permission.
Podium.
But the land that's being used, does that belong to the campground, or is that state-owned land?
It belongs to the campground.
So-
I know quite a bit about the center of town, so.
So
yeah.
they own the land
The
across the
campground
street?
actually owns, so.
The frontage,
Many,
right?
many years ago, prior to erosion, the land actually used to be much further out. That road's narrowed itself. But the campground actually owns under the road, over the road. They have an easement to the state to use that
Right,
property.
okay, so that makes
So
it
it is their
difficult,
land.
yeah.
The state has an easement to use their property.
Right.
Yeah.
Across,
And I think
so you can drive
they-
your car
they
over
own
the
it,
campground
yeah.
property.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'll water them out.
You go.
They
should
own
be
the
next.
shoreline.
It just seems like the concerns are more so with like the pop-up occurrences that are not at all getting licenses or, like not the obvious commercial uses that are like permitted to be there, but the pop-up,
The homeowner.
the
individual
homeowner that
homeowner or
is
Airbnb.
presumed to be a residential use, but now is it functioning more like a commercial use? It seems like that's where the concern for
That and boat traffic
growing
itself, right.
unregulated issues comes up, because if, I presume that, the campground or the cottages or whatever, that these businesses, they have their property now, they can't keep growing exponentially, whereas there's residences all over the lake, so if everyone rents out their dock spaces, that's where it becomes an issue.
Right.
Right,
Or if
so-
everybody adds 10 slips, goes out with a structure
Right.
and wings it off, like Mike did, he added 8 or 10 slips just on that one structure. It used to be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and then he took 2 out and put this big floating structure and that added 10 boat slips to, so he went from 10 to 18, I guess, really. He added 8.
Well,
So-
another concern is too, is that like in
But it's
towns
more
like-
boats.
Towns like Herman, Maine, they had people that were taking boathouses and just throwing moorings out into the lake, and they were just living on the lake. It was a major issue.
Yeah.
If we don't have some sort of regulation in place, this stuff can occur, and that's my fear.
Does anybody know, is there any kind of mooring policy on the lake? I didn't think.
We didn't have anything, that's what we
I thought we
were,
looked
that's what we were
into that,
talking
yeah.
about.
Nothing at all.
But if you look at the state law, the Great Ponds Act or whatever, there's, for every 100 foot of frontage on the lake, you have 1 mooring.
But do you have to own that frontage to have a mooring?
Yes.
So if I don't own property on the lake, I can't put a mooring there? Okay. Not that I would want to, but it's good to know.
But that's going back to,
But that's state.
15 years,
Right.
but.
Yeah, it is a little out of control. It definitely needs,
Yeah.
but I just don't know
I mean, is it,
how we do it.
can we amend the definition of a marina?
We talked
And-
about that with Mike too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then be able to, because in a current definition, it's a business establishment having frontage on navigable water as its principal use, providing for hire offshore moorings or docking facilities for boats, blah, 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 blah. But I think the issue that we're seeing is the residential establishments that are renting out their docks essentially as marinas, right? So,
Which is one of them.
and, but if you look at then the use chart, marinas need planning board approval in 3 of the shoreline zones and are not allowed in the other shoreline zone. So if you regulate it that way, it could just be like, if they want to have a marina, they have to come get planning board approval. If they don't have planning board approval, they cannot rent out their dock space.
Well, what's the difference between me renting out that
Right.
space and me just setting up 6 slips and I've got 6 friends that bring the boats over and I don't charge them? There's no difference
Yeah,
between the two,
that's, you're right.
If you're charging your friends or not is the difference. If you're making money.
Well, I'm not gonna charge my
You're not
friends.
gonna tell, you
Same 6
don't.
boats,
Yeah.
Right.
whether I'm making money or not. I mean,
could
Then
be
I
trading
don't-
off services,
Yeah.
you know?
I don't know.
I mean,
Um,
like I
Right,
said,
now,
if
what are we
we,
gonna say to the homeowner? How much money did you get paid? This is all
They're not
part
gonna
of
tell you.
how we're gonna track this down.
somebody's gonna pay him
And
cash.
as far as Lake Arrowhead is concerned, Saco River Corridor does go around, and they point out the docks, and they call frequently. They can't do that on Ospey, but they do out in Arrowhead.
I think it should be every so many feet of frontage, you're only allowed X amount of dock.
Some of these
I think if you had
places
that-
on Ospey Lake don't have a lot of frontage.
Then they only get 1 dog.
I mean,
Simple.
it's just like, there's always.
You want more docks, buy more property.
Like, well, there's non-conforming lots.
Right.
They all are.
right, yeah.
So you can make certain situations work
Yeah.
for people that already have a lot and have access to water.
Right,
There's people that have right of ways,
right.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah,
and they have docks.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, Betty Lane.
yeah, the association, yeah, yeah, yeah.
When it comes down to regulating number of boats per dock and, right.
Then you need enforcement, and
That's
that's gonna be the hard
enforcement,
part.
yeah.
And I think that's why we tabled it, Dennis, was Mike was trying to figure out what that next step was gonna be with the enforcement part. And I think that's where we left it.
Yeah, I think
I think you're right.
I think it all comes back to the same challenge. I think it did back then, right, is
Nowadays
enforcement.
with technology, you could essentially pay somebody to fly a drone. And if you look and you see, okay, they have a dock, they're not paying for it, you know what the property is, you look at GIS mapping. I mean, I'm just saying, we either do something about it or we're along for the ride, because people are gonna start taking advantage.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we would have to snap a line, and then,
How does the corridor do it on Arrowhead? They just bring a boat out?
There's a regulation on Saco River Corridor on how big your docks can be.
Yeah, but how do they police it? Do they use a drone?
Well,
Do
they look at the realtor photos, and then they call the realtor. Then
So it
they-
is aerial photos, different,
Yep.
it's not
Yep.
one
It is
specific way or
right,
anything?
and,
Yeah.
but they do drive around as well.
Okay,
And take
So Ospey
photos.
Lake is in the Saco River corridor.
It is, right? Yeah,
Right,
No.
but they don't,
I don't think so.
I thought it was.
they don't.
I think-
It
Yeah.
is,
They don't cover it.
because it
Well, it flows into
They don't
Arrowhead, so
cover it.
yeah.
flows into Lake Arrowhead.
Right.
Yeah, so it probably is part of it.
That's what they-
Same body of
But
water,
they don't cover it.
which flows into Ospey River, which flows into Saco River, yeah. Yeah, you're
I
probably
know.
right.
Nar.
What a lot of marinas do, being in the
But they're in
boating
the
for
corner.
many years, on the ocean. When you rent a slip at a marina, you actually have to get a certificate from the city that you're mooring it at. It's called a mooring permit, and you have to have that sticker on the boat,
Even though you're at a dock.
even though you're at the dock. And then they would have someone in the marina, or they would have marine fisheries come around
Yeah.
every so often, check the boats to make sure they had a mooring.
And I'm sure there's a fee for that sticker.
Yeah, you have to pay for the sticker.
Yeah.
And if the boat didn't have the mooring sticker on
Yeah.
it, they would end up, you'd get a ticket in the mail.
I think the other suggestion I was thinking about proposing was, you know, besides the X amount of feet per dock, and Dennis said some places only have a little bit, or they may only have access, but the dock should be, you might get one dock free or something, but if you're gonna have 5 docks, those should be like adding on to your house, and it should be considered a taxable asset, especially for people that are making money, that are renting them out for God knows how much per slip. Those extra docks should be, you should be paying the town something for them, whether it be a taxable property or per dock, $100 per dock, $200 per dock, whatever. There should be some kind of fee, or, I think it should be created like taxes, personally. You know, and that's how I think that the town could benefit from it. Maybe we could get money enough to pay to have somebody fly a drone, or somebody to enforce it, I don't know, I probably not. But it's something to think about. I don't know.
But I'm a resident of this town, and I have a camper.
Yeah.
I've got 10 cars in my driveway. You're not taxing me on the things I have in my driveway. So why are you gonna tax me on the things that I'm putting in front of my house here all of a sudden? Just because it's,
I know what you're saying, but if
It's
you're,
a
if
temporary
you're,
structure too.
yeah, you're making money.
Right.
I don't know, it's hard to, like you said, how do you determine if somebody's renting out, and there's some we know, obviously, we know that they're renting out. And then there's some that might be hush-hush that they're renting out.
There are some people that actually have just multiple boating vessels for
Yeah.
sporting, recreation, lounging.
I mean-
You know,
Right.
pontoon sport boat, 2
Yeah.
jet skis, that's just somebody's house,
Yeah.
and they have a lot of toys.
our
Right,
camp
and then how do you-
technically, we have 6 slips in front of our camp.
Yeah.
And on 4th of July, all 6 of those slips are filled.
Oh, I'm
They're
sure
not,
they are.
they're not filled all the time.
Right,
People
I'm
come
sure
in
they
and
are,
out
right,
and
so
stuff
I
like
mean,
that, but.
I don't know, it's a tough situation, it really is. I don't really see I don't really see a solution, to be honest with you. I don't know how you would come up with something that would be fair to everybody. Like Sandy said, you got some people that have multiple boats, you know, and that's, should be okay. I do think there should be so many, you know, you should only be allowed so many if you have so much frontage, because that's a space permit then. You know, going out with a structure going like this, I don't think should be allowed. I think it should be, you can come off the shoreline, every 20 feet, say 20 feet is a dock, because you really need about 10 feet for a boat. So you say every 20 feet you can put a dock.
We don't have to think of every single situation either. I mean, you could start as simply as you can't have a dock that extends out 75 feet,
Right.
you know?
Right.
I mean, we can start off with simpler type stuff,
But that may not be fair for every body of water in the town of Waterboro.
Right.
without a doubt.
So there, I mean, even Ospey has different depths, there's
Yep.
places where it's 3 feet, and you can't even put a boat until you put it first 16 feet out.
Right.
Right.
So Ospey seems to be the one that we're focused on, but there are many bodies of water in town, so
There's no water.
yeah, so that we're affecting every body of water in town, so, that would be a concern. I think certainly if the, code office or whatever, as you said, drove around, if there are structures on the lake that supersede the submersible lands permit, to find out, do they have the permit? that might be the first thing. Because you have two that are legal, the rest I have no idea about.
Yep.
So that's a start in question.
Yep.
Also, just thinking, like, we're not particularly concerned if someone has a lot of dock, or a lot of boats on their dock if they own them all, because in all likelihood, they're only taking one or two out at a time, right? So it's not like, if it's one household, they're taking all 6 of their boats out at the same time, probably. Because we're concerned about the impact of that many boats on the lake, or the impact of renting to 6 different households on one dock. Because
bottom
then
line.
that's 6 different cars, and
Yeah.
then 6 different boats on the lake at the same time, where you would normally expect one. So I'm still thinking, trying to address, I'm almost wondering if addressing this, like some communities address short-term rentals,
Right.
but addressing it with the dock instead of short-term rentals could be like one strategy communities use is you have to get a permit, but they want to make sure that people who have short-term rentals actually do get the permit, and that they're not basically motivated to avoid getting the permit because the cost or the process to get the permit is too onerous. But then they cap the number of permits
Yeah.
and have like a wait list for getting a permit, so that way they can control, as you look outward, how many short-term rentals, exist in a certain area. So,
That's a whole nother.
well, yes, but I mean, I
We're going down a
wonder,
really slippery slope.
I wonder if that process like that could work for the docks, because we're concerned about the accumulative effect, right?
boat traffic.
Of boat traffic and of the resulting car traffic that could be geared toward one area where there isn't space for that, rather than a non-cumulative.
So I guess we're making an assumption that dogs equal boats, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, docks or moorings, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the first question is that accurate? I mean, if I've got 3 friends and I've got space for them to even tie it on shore, and they come out for the day, what's the difference? Do you know what I mean? If I have enough parking for them to go and put a boat in for the day, bring their vehicle over, walk
There should be
back,
nothing wrong with that, that's for sure.
but that's 15 more boats for the day.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, if the concern's the boats, then that's the concern. And you know what I mean? Like, I think we're making an assumption that dock equals boat.
No, it's a good point, Rebecca,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I don't know, and I keep referring back to this conversation because we had it last year with Mike, and he said, and I agreed, and I think we all did, is like, where do we start? And how does this, what's the end goal?
Yeah.
So if we're gonna limit boat traffic, like you said, you could be a day user,
Right.
and we can't really tell somebody they can't have the dock they want.
Yeah.
But, as John said, if we could regulate any more coming, right,
Going forward.
Yeah, well, that's why I was thinking maybe a permit system for commercial rental of dock and mooring spaces.
yeah.
Where like, if you're doing a one-off case where it's one weekend and you have friends, you wouldn't need it, because that wouldn't constitute a commercial use.
Right.
But if you're doing it constantly for the whole summer,
Right.
that would constitute
That's a
the use.
problem.
And then
Well,
you
there
would
is
get
too,
the
because there's rental properties and the owners have their boats in, and then the weeklies have their boats. I know that is going on. So are we saying we'll go to the homeowner and
I don't know.
require the permit or what have you?
I don't know, I think the I guess the first step in it is trying to figure out how we identify all of these things and what the true problems are, right? Because I think that's where, another thing that we left the other time was trying to figure out what actually, not what is the problem, but what's leading to the
problem.
concern, right?
Yeah.
And and opening up that thought and not focusing on one body of water, but focusing on all bodies of water.
Right.
To make sure that what we're proposing doesn't create hardship or isn't even manageable on another piece of water, right? So, I mean, I think we started doing that. I think we all took like different tasks or whatever, and we gathered some data, but I don't know that it gave us what we were looking for.
No, it didn't. No.
I mean,
What if we talk to, like, there's these larger dock companies, that install docks all across the state of Maine. I mean, I'm sure they run into different communities with different regulations.
Yep.
Could potentially pick their brains.
Yep.
I mean, I understand this is a challenging topic, there's
Yeah.
no doubt. I just think it's worth looking into, because I'd like to try to preserve the water, bodies of water.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. Yeah.
Population's
Yeah.
gonna increase, there's nothing we can do about that.
Yeah,
I think something definitely needs to be done, it's just why now?
yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good idea, though.
It's
I mean,
it's a real touch.
They might have some insight, but,
yeah.
I'll call the Saco Recorder Commission too and
Yeah.
just see.
So the code enforcement officer that is helping us at this time, we may be able to pick his brain. The town has a boat issued to the code enforcement officer because they have 8 bodies of water. So
Which
we're
town is
needing.
it?
so they have regulation, or they're up against the same thing?
We're gonna have, Michaela and I are sitting down with him tomorrow to go over a few other things, and this is on our list, that we're gonna,
I missed, because they have regulation today, or because they're faced with the same issue that we're faced with?
I don't know.
Oh.
He has a boat at his
Conversation,
disposal to go out
The town has
and look.
issued him a boat
Okay,
because of the 8 bodies of water that they have.
gotcha.
Big bodies of water, yeah.
So we're gonna, in our conversation tomorrow, find out what they may have on the books
Yeah.
already, or what they're facing, and could it potentially apply here?
Mhm. Yeah.
What time is that, active?
Acton.
They have a mooring ordinance.
When you guys went for your ride, how many did you actually observe? Did you count the number that you thought were renting out? Because I think what we're talking about here is one place right now.
Yeah.
We know 2 have the proper stuff, there's one that doesn't. It was a commercial building for a long time that had docks at it. But those docks have gotten much larger, and we have one business, it's a business now.
It's a business.
It's a business. Have they gone through the proper channels as a business that everybody else has? Let's start there first. The other structure that's out there is at Betty Lane, Birchcrest subdivision, all those houses.
Yeah,
they each.
that's
have
an
one slot.
association, right?
It's an association, they have one slot if they chose to buy into the dock.
Yeah, and that's for like, what, how many houses?
14 or 16
Oh, yeah,
lots
so-
in there, so.
So they all have
And
access.
they don't all have boats.
No.
Not everybody went in, so I think there's maybe 10.
Maybe 10, maybe 10. Yeah.
So we have really, we're talking about one offender right
Right,
now.
that's all I could think of. I mean, I thought of that too, but I'm like, I know that's part of that
So I don't
association.
know that we need to rewrite the whole ordinance and do all this and look at all that. We have one, so let's talk to them.
Well, I think what Sandy said about the, what did you call it, a land?
Commercial land.
Submersible land, I didn't know anything about that. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that Mike probably doesn't either. Because I don't think he was told that he needed to do that by our code enforcement officer. He did come to the town and ask, and they said, yep, and he's like, okay, I should be good.
I can guarantee you Sunnyside Cottages and Little Osprey Lake Campground's tax bill is through the roof compared to what the tax bill is at that house next to the boat launch, what he's paying and what he's bringing in revenue.
Right.
And they're-
Well, the campground is, how many sites, you can't compare that. Even Sunnyside is a lot,
But they went through planning board approval.
right.
The docks were all through planning board when that
Were they?
went through. It was, and part of that was that he would provide a public space for people to pull up.
Right.
Which,
When that whole thing
Is
went
there,
through, it was
yep.
quite scrutinized.
Yep.
Lawyers,
Sunnyside didn't go through that.
No, they went straight to the
they
bureau.
went straight to the bureau.
Yeah, they did first.
And,
Bureau of Parks and Rec? Or
No, Bureau.
No.
Yeah,
I mean-
Bureau of Parks and Land.
Parks and
That's-
Land, sorry, Parks and
so
Rec.
you have,
But not at the town.
you really have one that's
Yes,
here. I'm sure there's a few other places where they.
a couple here, a couple there,
They're not standing at the podium.
right.
So it's electricity at the house or
Keep the
whatever.
boat there for the
Keep the
summer.
boat there, but I don't drive by and see.
I don't either. I'm out there a lot. I mean, I was out a lot this summer, and I didn't see like
That's the one that's really.
places that are like
The
multiple.
last few years is, I don't know how big, how many, you put them in.
It went, like I said, it went from 10 to 18.
Right.
And that's-
Roger had 10. when Roger had the house. He had,
Yeah, and I think when my folks owned the restaurant, we had five or six.
5 docks, 2 boats,
Two
right.
boats on a thing.
Yeah, that's what he
They come in
has.
And they could get gasoline back then, or stop in for ice cream or dinner.
Right.
I think that's something we had talked about too, was we're not sure exactly how large this problem is or isn't, and that getting some data like counts
Yeah.
next summer when people are voting would be helpful, but it does seem like people might want to like
There are days
do
where
something before.
the boat traffic is bad, but I don't know if that's from everybody and their brother coming from Bedford, Saco, and trailering and putting in, or if it's people that already have boats on the lake. I see a lot.
I would
You
say
go
that-
by the launch on a Sunday, and people are parked with boat, trucks, and trailers in between the no parking signs. Literally, there's their headlights, and there's a no parking sign, and there'll be 10 of them along the side of Route 5, and nobody, we've asked the sheriff to enforce it, ticket them. They don't want to bother. It's not worth it. So, when I see all those trucks and trailers, that has nothing to do with docks or
Right.
people, you know, it's people from away coming to use this lake. They have a right to, I guess. I just think parking is, like Michaela said, parking is a huge problem, safety issue. People crossing Route 5, you know, the boat launch, utilizing the boat launch. The boat launch has got jacked for parking. Half the time, people park on the other side with trailers, so people that want to take their kids swimming don't even have a place to park. Residents. So that's one of the big concerns too, but keeping people from, I think if you're not a resident, you shouldn't be able to use the lake unless you buy, like Sebago charges $20. We should be charging people that don't have a dump sticker.
Is there a launch private or public? Because the launch in Waterboro is public.
The launch at Sebago is
It's
public. The one right by in Standish, yeah, they charge $20.
Right,
Put your
again,
boat
we discussed that too, but
They have a harbor master.
we gotta go all
Right,
the way
and
back
and
to
the
where
kid
we all
that, the
started.
kid that works, that does the milfoil inspection, all he does is look for milfoil and is on Facebook. That's the only 2 things he does. He can't enforce anything.
Once you put that harbor master into play, it opens up a lot of things that you can do with the lake.
Yes.
But it's often, how many hours involved?
Right.
7 days a week.
And the
Right.
budget.
Boats,
Yeah.
budgets. and
Yeah,
You think you spend a lot for contract deputy.
Right.
right. Oh, I know. That was the concern
Yep.
way back, was the cost of having a harbor master, the cost of enforcement. So, I don't know. Do we really have as big of a problem as what we think? I don't know.
Did we ever find out if we had a baseline number from past reviews on boats, activity, fluctuations during certain periods of time?
No, I talked to Matt about trying to get in touch with the game wardens to see if they had any estimates.
Rick, I
On their
gave you
end.
the sign-in sheets or the inspection sheets from the boat checks.
Right, from the launch.
You did, you gave them to me?
Mhm.
Okay,
You wanted to look at the data and stuff.
okay. Is that in here?
No, I
No,
gave
it was a
them
while
to you.
ago.
Oh, a
We
while
were
ago?
looking at the
Okay.
last time.
Yeah, I think I do remember that, now that you say that, yeah. I don't remember I remember looking at it, I don't remember what the results were off the top of my head. But,
So we all agree something should be done, so what are our next steps, logically?
Michaela.
Michaela?
We
Any-
can, I think we need more information, so I can call the Saco Recorder Commission, pick their brain. I think calling the dock companies is a good idea too. I can
I
call.
think that guy from Acton too would be.
Yeah, we're gonna talk to him, so that's 3 people, the game warden, so
Figure out what other communities or towns or whatever you wanna call it.
I've
or
looked into that.
doing
Not
that.
a ton in Maine do a ton on
Yeah.
this issue.
Yeah.
Which is why it's fairly tricky.
Yeah.
Or I think emblematic of the fact that it's fairly tricky. There's not a ton, because it seems to come back to the harbor master thing. Acton has a harbor master now, it's their code enforcement officer.
Wow.
So,
I know Newfield charges dock permits.
but yeah, I'll do some more digging, we'll have these conversations, maybe we can circle back to another meeting that the agenda seems decent, and, follow up on all of what these conversations led to, and then figure out next steps from there.
Should we also try to gather all the issues that we're talking about, just so that we have a concentrated list?
Yeah, I can put together a list too, I kind of have a running one,
Okay.
but I can put it together in more like a memo type form.
That we make sure we touch everything, or everything we should.
Yeah, because at the time, it sounded like things were getting reported to Mike, but I
Right.
don't know that we had
Right.
any information about what was being
And that
reported
was
to
happening,
him.
because I think.
Yeah, I think that's
yes.
what brought it up, right?
Right.
Was part of it.
And he was feeling the pressure, I thought, from the town council
Yeah.
to do something. But that's where we left it.
So just another note on this, Glenn Charette, our former code officer, says state regulates docks and moorings permit by rule needed for a dock. MDEP can request a third-party inspector. If you go to AI, it says dock installation is governed by the National Resource Protection Act, requires a permit from Maine Department of Environmental Protection before construction.
Is that,
Is that
must be
permanent?
permanent,
That's a
yeah,
permanent,
must be
yeah.
permanent.
That sounds like it's more permanent.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's a dock, it's permanent in the season. Obviously, it comes out in the winter, but, I mean, you consider that permanent if it's in there?
Has to do with like the
No.
footings.
I
Yeah.
think,
They move.
I think the National Resource Protection, that dock that they're aimed at is almost like the one over by, Jack Hughes. The,
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not talking about temporary
No.
residential docks.
I'm more than happy to help anyway as well.
yeah, I think it's definitely worth, continuing to talk about. I agree with you. I mean, I think there's numerous issues. I mean, if you're gonna talk, I mean, my experience is only with OSPI, and there's a lot of things there. I think most of the things I see would be controlled by the association, more so than the town. I think, personal opinion is that there's some motors on that lake that don't belong there, and, but you can't control that with anything that we're talking about here, right? And we have no purview over that, but I think that's more the association and what they allow there. And, I think that there probably should be boundaries on there. We specifically moored our boat for a while because people came too close around the corner, and we had kids swimming out there, and it was dangerous for them to be out there. So, there's a lot of different things. I just don't know what the town can control versus that individual body of water and what rules and regulations they establish to protect their residents and things like that. But I think it definitely needs to be. It's a great, if we're talking specifically about Westby, it's a great lake, and we have a lot of great bodies of water, and I think it is our duty to protect them as much as we can. So I think we should keep on talking about it. I think we just have to be fair in what we do, and that we're not constricting people based on their personal property. That's my opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was one.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you. All right. So next was minutes from previous meetings. Well, here's what we're gonna do. I'll take a motion to approve the minutes from August 20th and August 17th and October 1st. We will postpone the minutes for September 3rd and August 6th.
Yes.
All right, you need a motion?
Can I get a motion to approve October, we'll go in order here, August 20th, September 17, and October 1st?
I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from August 20th, September 17th, and October 1st.
Correct.
And part of that motion is to postpone.
We'll do two
Oh,
separate
we'll do
motions.
two, all right.
okay. Yeah. Can I get a second on
Sure.
the approval of those minutes? All those in
I
favor?
was just gonna,
All right. And then, can I get the other motion?
I make a motion to postpone the review of the meeting minutes from August 8th and September 3rd.
I'll second that.
All those in favor? All right. Next, communication. Got anything, Angela, Michaela, Dennis? No? Miscellaneous, just a reminder that we still have 2 open seats with a big audience tonight on the planning board, if there's any members of the community interested. If not tonight, you can always come back. Next, I just need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.